So I'm here with Iwan Sunito, CEO and founder of One Global Capital. Great to see you, my friend.
Great to see you too, Mike.
Well, obviously, One Global Capital is a new development company, but you've delivered $4 billion worth of development in the past. Would you mind sharing just with our audience a little bit about your background and what Crown obviously was the previous developer, a bit about kind of what the vision is for the company, about your background a little bit as well?
One Global Capital is not a new company, but it's actually the new brand that we are using to present my family office. It used to be Crown International Investment. So we invested in Crown Group, we invested in Sky the Hotel, we invested in Grand the Retail, we also invest in industrial building. But as of 2023, I decided to rebrand it to become One Global Capital, which is really to do with the one vision, infinite possibilities. Is about global, that we're a global tribe, and capital being resources, people, brains, ideas, and funding. And that's the kind of the new brand that we're presenting into the world. But we're doing exactly what we used to do before, except that we're pushing it to the next level in 2023 and beyond.
And you've got some, that's awesome, and you've got some amazing projects coming out. I think almost $1.5 billion worth of development coming to the market. Do you want to share with us a bit about your project that's recently been approved?
Yes, well, we got an approval for 300 units, $500 million projects in Macquarie Park. And I call Macquarie Park as a golden triangle site. This golden triangle is always about transport, it's about shopping center and universities. And this is where the global buyers are buying, this is where the residents will live. But what's important about Macquarie Park was to do with the fact that it's going to be 18 minutes away from to the city of Barangaroo. And the next one is actually a $1.2 billion project in Chatswood. It's a big, significant site. It'll be the largest job, and it will be the most amazing design that I will be pushing. I mean, because Chatswood can afford for a great design that we've always been the champion of.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so obviously you guys were well known for doing incredible projects at Crown.
Thank you.
For the first one that's kind of coming up, can you tell us a bit about who are the buyers that you're looking to appeal to, and what's the kind of, tell us a bit about the project?
Mike, we tap into this trend, which is what I call a tipping point in how people live. I mean, people are more and more living into the urban area. So they're moving from the green areas to more the city. And that's really what we're tapping. We're tapping into the local people. We're tapping into not the downsizer, we call them the right-sizer.
Yeah.
People who are looking for high-rise living, but high amenities. You know, like our development is always about urban resort, but facility. But we're also tapping into the global buyers market, which is really one of the largest area in Australia, because these are the migrants that are coming into the country that contribute to about 80% of our population growth. I mean, when you think about out of 500,000 people growth per year, which is 2.2% of 26 million population, I mean, 100,000 is really coming from natural growth. The 400,000, which is 80%, are coming from migrants. And these are the ones that we're tapping, and we've always been a champion of this middle market, but really better quality that we have been very good at.
Yeah, I can certainly attest to that. And you mentioned about some of the amenity in the project and how, you know, that's really become one of the signatures of Crown, and I'm sure will continue to be the case. Would you mind sharing a bit about what is the amenity for the project, and how are you thinking about that kind of lifestyle element of the project?
Yeah, I've always been, I'm an architect by background, and I've kind of studied architecture. I graduated from New South Wales Uni. I kind of learned the element of what makes great architecture. I mean, great architecture goes beyond technology, goes beyond fashion, style. It's always about an experience of space. So my push has always been about that my building has got to be a world class. Now, world class is often not to do with what you put in it. It's more about how the shape, the building looks together, the experience, and how we can actually elevate the mind, the heart, and the spirit of our residents.
I mean, it's not a bad example behind us, right?
Well, that's another amazing push that we're going to push in Indonesia. We're working with the Indonesian government to create the city of the future. But I've been fortunate, you know, working with Koichi Takada. I mean, a New York trained, an Aussie that live in Australia, and he is just one of those amazing young talented architects that are just incredibly genius, and we work together well. Rarely that two architects can work together. Right?
Yeah,
we either like one another or we hate one another, right? But he's been like, he builds my business as much as I'm also building his business, and he's now like the world famous architects around the world, and he's really good at creating this beautiful, timeless, but yet also sensitive to nature. So we are kind of pushed beyond building the scale of our business, where I want to go public in 5 years from now.
Right.
And this One Global Capital is 100% my own family office business there. So the freedom to actually be able to do what I want to do and continue with our vision to build to rent, which is the Sky brand, and the build to rent and co-living in the future. it's really having somebody like Koichi to work together towards a greener future, like building buildings that are responding to our planet and creating the blue earth that we live in. I think that will be something that I think every developer in town has to go beyond how many rooms, how many sizes, like what's the mix of your unit, how many car park. We've done that so many times, but I think together we collectively can create a green city for the future.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's kind of been awesome to see evolve within the market here in Sydney and also around the rest of the market is that thoughtful design process. And I can imagine when you have that kind of the detailed experience of being an architect yourself and being able to apply the trade right from the outset, not only can it kind of create something that is really going to add value to the community over a long period of time, but also being able to kind of design it right from the get-go. Because often in the past where we've seen, other developers and other projects sometimes go awry is when they don't kind of get the planning stage right, working with the council and working with the community to kind of really create something, and then trying to kind of retrofit it can be hard. But planning, as you say, is kind of everything and getting it right from the start.
I think that's so right, isn't it? Like we always complain about the NIMBY, not in my backyard. But I think we can turn the NIMBY into yes in my backyard.
And the YIMBY.
The YIMBY. The reason is simply because people are not against building. They're against bad development. And I think like City of Sydney encourage design competition. There is value that great design does not compete with great growth of business. They're both complements. And I don't like to operate in a space where we're simply a building, because we are living legacy of the future. Now, we might as well create a great legacy by just pushing the boundary a bit more in design what it looks like on the urban scape and what it looks like for the residents who live in it. And building has a psychological value. The thing that gives me great pleasure is sometimes when I saw people in Lincoln when they said, I walk into the ARC building in Clarence Street 161, right? And this girl kind of posted this, said, look, this building somehow makes me happy. Right? And it is true that some buildings makes you happy, some buildings makes you depressed, some buildings you're ignorant about it. But what is it about building that makes people happy and suddenly it lifts up their psychological well-being? As it kind of lifts up their psychological well-being, it does improve their physiological, their state of mind, they think better and they get better, their heart rate. So there's something about building that just goes beyond. Now, I think buildings should go beyond 50 years, great buildings in the world actually become valueless as it goes over time because there's something about what it designed to be, the iconic nature of it, the experience of the building. Sydney Opera House, Harbour Bridge. And I think that's really rarely that people think beyond that. But if you can just push for that, and that's something that I've always been passionate, and I'm glad that I had the training of an architect though. It gives me the ability to see beyond numbers. And of course, as a businessman, you have to understand about profit. That's important, that you got to be sustainable and you got to be able to grow. But passion, purposeful, being a developer is important. And this is, I think, that's over time in the last 25 years, less than 3 decades, and the Crown Group grew from a nobody or not known company to become a company that whenever I show our buildings across the world, like Green Square, Infinity by Crown, the ARC building that has won the tallest building in the world competition, and Green Square Infinity that won the world's best building in UDIA conferences, that stand the test of time. It can just be beautiful everywhere.
One of the things I think you're so right about is it's about care and really understanding that you're contributing to what the future of the city will be. And I share the same passion, obviously, working in this market as well. And I'm so excited to see these new projects come to life. And I appreciate you taking the time to share your thoughts with us, and all the best for the next 2 projects.
Thank you.